Welcome back to the Daily Dose with District 8. My name is Megan Schaefer, and I'm the District 8 4 H Program Specialist out in Stephenville. This week, I'm joined by Vice Chairman Brecken Shipman from Johnson County. Hi, Brecken. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. This week, we're going to do things a little differently and just kind of see where our conversation takes us. Brecken is kind of known as the old man on our on our officer team a little bit, but always has awesome things to talk about and a lot of wisdom to share with everyone. So, Brecken, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and kind of what you do through 4-H?
So, for those that don't know me, my name is Brecken Shipman. I'm from Johnson County, of course, right there on the Ellis County, Johnson County line. Me and my family, our family business is raising Simmental. We raise show heifers, bulls, things like that. I show heifers as well as steers, and I found success in that. But I've also done meats judging, and I've really grown through that and have found my place in that area. But all of that wouldn't have been possible without 4-H. I can assure you that 4-H has definitely been the main influence that has molded me into the individual I am today. And without it, I probably wouldn't be as well spoken, of course, without it, as well as other things that are very important, very necessary to the career readiness in the future the future that has in store for me. So that's a little bit about it.
Awesome. So, Brecken, you talked about your future for just a second. Let's just jump off there. What do you have plans to do with your life after you graduate? Because you're a senior this year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So,
Uh,
what are the plans for you down the road?
my future plans consist of going to Texas Tech, wherever I'll be on the judging teams, wool judging, meats judging, livestock judging. So I'll be indulging in that, as well as getting or pursuing a degree in animal science with a focus on meat science, on the science part of things, as well as getting a minor in ag eco. And through that, I'll either have two options: go into the meats industry, wherever I'll just go and see what careers they have open, because there are a lot of jobs out there and not a lot of people. So that means a lot more opportunity. One person could have 4 job offers out there, and not a lot of people do it. So there's a great opportunity out there, and I think that that's where I will be heading. But also, in these past couple of years, I've also been focusing on the policy side of things and knowing that understanding the importance of policy on agriculture, because there are so many representatives out there that are making decisions that they quite frankly have no knowledge on, and they're in fact impacting farmers and ranchers, a common man, and through unknowledgeable policymaking. So I believe that if I were to go that route, I'll be a lobbyist for the Farm Bureau and just go through that on the more so government side of agriculture. So the meats industry or the government, either one, I think will be pretty good for me.
Awesome. I'm going to call it now. I see Brecken Shipman in like 2041 as a Secretary of Agriculture for another USDA.
So I don't know about that, but let's see where it goes. It's God's plan.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so Brecken, you talked a little bit about what you've been involved in. What would you tell those kids who either don't have the option to raise livestock or just not interested in that? What could they do through 4-H? What would you suggest for them?
Well, I think the first thing is do your research, find what you're passionate about, and through that it'll speak to you basically. For me, cattle, it was kind of warranted because I grew up in the cattle industry, but what I found my place in is meats judging. I didn't know anything about that until I was asked to be on the meats judging team. So never say no to opportunity is my key word, my words of experience, words of wisdom. Never say no to opportunity, because you don't know what doors that'll open. You open one door, there's 3 other doors that you could possibly go through. It's just continuous. And if you say yes to opportunities, new opportunities, somebody asking you to do something, go ahead and give it a try. And through that, you'll find what you don't like, what you like. I did livestock judging, but it wasn't my cup of tea. And I just continually looked for other avenues. If you do your research and never say no to opportunity, you'll find where you belong. And that's the beautiful thing about 4-H. You'll always find where you belong. There's no place where you don't belong. And I think through doing that, you'll be able to accomplish so much than just sitting and waiting for things to happen. You need to take charge and look for the open doors.
Awesome. Would you say that doing meats judging helped enhance a little bit of your beef project? Like knowing like what to look for when they're hanging on the rail, maybe helped a little bit with your feeding program? A
Oh,
little?
yes, ma'am. I've through meats judging, I've understood because not just the 4-H side of things, but the FFA side of things. In FFA, we have to do test material. And through that test material, I've learned not only about the meats industry, but also animal husbandry and how that affects the carcasses hanging up and how that affects the food being on your plate. It goes into food nutrition, food husbandry, safe handling of food, all of the above. And through that, I've really seen it enhance my beef project. And with that, I've been able to understand the nutrition that goes into the animal as well as the care that goes in the animal and understand the importance of why we do the things that we do. What is the definition to our madness, you know? And with that, I think I've not only done meat judging, but plant identification, which is identifying plants out in the pasture, can help with the nutrition as well. If you're going to turn out a group of cows on that pasture, you need to know what they're going to be eating. Is it poisonous? Is it invasive? Things like that that are very important to the beef industry, as well as taking care of other animals. And through these projects, I've really seen it enhance my skills in my various projects.
Awesome. So last week's conversation was with Paisley and Kinley about 4-H projects, and I think this really ties well into that, where you can have one project, your main project, like beef cattle, and then you can add all these extra things in there, so you get all these extra learning experiences, and it just makes our 4-H projects come full circle. And so we have all these different things that we're doing that we're interested in, but we can tie them all back to our main project, and it just creates this beautiful cycle of what 4-H is really about. And that's learning and learning by doing, and we do that best by getting involved and jumping off and saying yes to the opportunities and finding our passions and being able to plug them all in the right places. And so I think that's really cool. um Brecken, you have a really unique outlook on trying things. Has there been anything that you tried that you didn't like?
I don't know. I think I've only really ever done it with my friends, which
Hmm.
is, but I've never done anything that I did not enjoy. Sure, plant identification, it got old. I think that's the only thing I really disliked was just looking at the same thing over and over. But there's never really been anything I did not like trying or trying something new because I'm always open to learn, always open to new opportunities and seeing what different revenues will open up.
Awesome.
But I've
Have
never,
you have you tried anything that was outside of your comfort zone, like foods and nutrition or anything like that?
outside of my comfort zone, I got a pretty broad comfort
I
zone.
know, I know. Your comfort zone is very vast.
So I'm gonna say probably not, but that's only because of my outlook and how I view things. You know, uh, I think no, it's just whenever I'm going to a new area that I feel a little bit nervous. You know, just meeting new people, going to the I went to Texas Tech meets judging camp without my team. And that was very, very beneficial. But at the beginning, I was very nervous. The Texas Youth Livestock Ambassador short course, very nervous as well. But then again, once you know me, I'll talk your ear off. So I've never really been outside of my comfort zone in the agricultural industry.
So, what would you say to those kids who have a different personality than what you have, where they're maybe they get to those things where they are going to go try them, but they're not great at making friends, or they're a little shy and they're not as adaptable at talking to people as you are. What would you tell those kids to do?
Well, I'd probably say one baby step at a time. Just write yourself a checklist if that helps. Because if you write yourself a checklist, you write down your goals are most likely going to happen. You can't just say it out loud. So you write down on a piece of paper like talk to somebody at least once today. Check that off. Shake hands with somebody. Tell somebody a joke. Things like that. Just something to get you more and more outside your comfort zone. And you don't have to jump in, just dive right in, but you can just take one step at a time and just feel a little bit more comfortable transition. Because for me, starting off, I was the same way. At the dances, I was that shy kid in the corner, just waiting to talk for somebody to come talk to me. But I realized that you need to take initiative because they probably feel the same way. And the person that you want to talk to, they're probably get just as nervous as you are. So you just got to step out of your comfort zone, just one piece at a time, and just talk to people. Keep talking. And the more that you talk, the more you'll be able to develop your communication skills and your networking skills and understand that it's not that bad. The social anxiety, it becomes non-existent because it's not there anymore. You've stepped out of your comfort zone. You've been able to adapt and understand how people think, how people work, and through that, I think you'll be able to better communicate and be less nervous and to just be more confident. Because confidence, as you know, is key in the job or getting. If you want somebody to like you, just be confident, be yourself, and that is the best advice I can give you.
I love that. I love the taking it one step at a time and having a checklist of things, because it is overwhelming for a lot of kids to step out and talk to a Brecken Shipman or a Travis Barrett or a Paisley Grosky or any of these other kids that we have on our district council, or any of the district council kids, because we see them up at front and we see them doing all these things outside of council and all of that stuff. And it's intimidating sometimes to want to go up and talk to them. But if you just go shake hands with somebody or give them a fist bump or a high five or something, and that's one thing you checked off your list. I really love that part, because it doesn't have to be scary. You don't have to start with a whole conversation. Just say hello. That's the first step, and I think that that's really cool. Um, okay, I have two questions left for you. One is, as a graduating senior. Well, I have a couple more questions than just two, but as a graduating senior, what is one thing that you wish you could go do differently? Or
I'd
is there
say
anything you wish you could do differently? Because there might not
I,
be.
I'd say I don't hold regrets. That's one of my things, no regrets. But I think I wish I would have gotten involved sooner. You know, I feel like I could have ran for district officer a lot sooner, and maybe I would have had a chance to get on the state board or something like that. But I think if I got involved sooner, did more service, I think I'd feel more accomplished and more complete. Because there's some days wherever I think and look at other people's accomplishments and think to myself, I could have done that, or I wish I could have been there. But the only thing is not getting involved sooner. That's the biggest thing for me because there's so many opportunities that I wish that I would have been able to do, but I didn't because I just sat back a little bit and watched it all happen, and then to finally decide, hey, I'm going to do this and this and this. Because this year I was chairman. I'm chairman of the state council, but if I got involved sooner, I could have done that last year and moved on to bigger things. But it's just things like that.
I gotcha. Okay, so on the other side of that, what is something that was like the most fun that you did that you wish you could go that you would do over in a heartbeat? Like you want to do it all over again.
I'd probably have to say my first surge.
Oh
My
yeah?
first, well, not the one where it was online because that was, quite
Yeah.
frankly,
We
not.
don't count that one. It's fine.
The one after that, I think my very first surge, I would love to go back because as an incoming, uh, thing, it was an incoming sophomore. I was just, my eyes were a little bit wider. I was not as tired, and I was just ready to learn and meet new people. And I think that that experience was very, very fun. I think meeting Travis there my first year and meeting so many others, it was just eye opening because I experienced a new part of the district, and not even district, but 4-H as a whole, and meeting all those other people that share the same interest as myself and are a part of the same industry as me. And then getting to grow up with them over the years has really been a very big accomplishment for me because I've been able to develop a family that I thought I'd never be able to develop. And I've been able to step out of my comfort zone a little bit more, like I said, one step at a time. And I'm very grateful for that first surge experience.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Okay, what piece of advice would you give to someone who's just starting out in 4-H? What's the one thing you wish you could tell them?
I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but I'd say probably again getting involved and not saying no to opportunity. For me, I've been given so many opportunities, and that's one of the reasons why I stepped into a leadership position is to give back those opportunities to those kids starting off because it's hard if you're not involved in it. It's hard to get into it when you don't know what you're getting into. So I think talking to your ag extension agent, getting acquainted through that, and just going to every meeting that you can, listening to the service projects, the group projects, all of that, and just staying in tune. Of course, having your parents there with you will also help, and just getting started. I think you need to be able to listen and say yes to new opportunities. Because if you don't say yes, you don't know what else you could do. Possibly, you're limiting yourself and your accomplishments, your future endeavors that could possibly be yours, but you said no, therefore you've shut yourself off. And sure, there's going to be plenty of other ones, but as if you get the sooner you get involved, the more you learn and the more you accomplish.
I love that. Okay, so this last question is has nothing to do with 4-H. I've been asking everybody kind of a random off the wall question. And the one I have for you is if you could have any kind of superpower, what would you have?
Any kind of superpower. Probably have an immense amount of charisma.
You already have that. What
I
kind of
don't,
superpower
know.
would you have?
Uh, probably the ability to speak every language in the world.
Cool. So you could talk to more people.
Have a bigger, broaden your communication skills.
Sometimes I would like to have that too, just so that the ladies at the nail place I can understand what they're talking about, saying about me. So
Yeah.
all right, Brecken. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. It was a blast to get to talk to you and chat with you for a little bit. So, we hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you all for tuning in. I think we maybe have one or two more episodes to come at you, with our students before we transition into hearing from the advisors. And we have a couple more weeks of this series, and then we'll see where it takes us from there. So, with that, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all down the road.